All right, we are here. I am so excited about this great opportunity to be with you today. As you can tell, I have my guest over my other shoulder, which is this shoulder here. Tanya Smith is here with us today, and we are doing the countdown. And you should very much be able to hear her. Tanya, how are you doing?
Hey, what's up? I'm doing great. Thanks for
Well,
having me.
Thank you for being on tonight. So I'm doing the countdown, guys, and I tried this out last week with Anna and Fulgence, and I'm doing it again. So since I have all of this real estate with my television behind me, why just during the countdown just show off a little bit? Tanya, do you think I'm showing off a little bit with this scene?
Absolutely.
Just a
You are
little bit.
absolutely showing off just a
Just a little
lot.
bit, just a little bit. I mean, why not, right? So I got people
Right.
saying hello to us. How are you doing? And you know what? I'm gonna try to say the last name so I know how to pronounce that. Melvin, thank you for hanging out tonight. Miles is with us here too. Thank you guys for hanging out. We have a great show. Paul Duncan, Mr. Moderator, says hello, fam. Guess what, guys? We have a great show for you tonight, and we so appreciate you guys coming in and being a part of it. And man, we got people from all over the place, and here we go. Remember, without a reason here, we love to see your show. Or how, man, thank you so very much for hanging out with us tonight. Nice idea for the countdown. Go ahead and show off. Why not show off a little bit? I'm
Right.
sorry. This is part of my personality, and Tanya is just fitting right in with me tonight. Tanya, you have a show. Actually, you have two shows. One is Stream Like a Boss, and the other one is Get Noticed with Video, right?
So Get Noticed with Video is my main company, but my show is Stream Like a Boss TV. Yeah.
That is awesome. Like, I love the fact, number one, the names. How did you come up with those names for your show?
Oh goodness. Get Noticed with Video I came up with because that was my goal. I was losing any type of reach whatsoever on social media profiles. And I decided to test out doing live stream every week for a year. And I was
I
able to
love
get
it.
noticed with video. So there you go.
So you did 52 weeks in a year
I did.
of
I
live
did.
streaming.
Yeah, I
Like,
challenged and stretched.
now, if you have a personality. If you have a personality like me, like I like love being in front of the camera, behind the camera, talking audio, whatever it is. I just love being what they call talent. Is that something
Yes.
that is a gift or skill of yours as well?
No. It
Not
is
at all.
absolutely not strict. No, I was not born into this. I'm very much an introvert, but I realized I had a message to share and something to say. And when
That's
I feel like I
cool.
have something to say, then finding the media to be able to do that, to get that point across, that was the gift.
That's
Yeah, and
awesome.
video is it. Mhm.
Right now is just the way to go, right?
It is. It is. I really honestly, I can't think of any other form of media that I would want to really go all in on right at this moment because video gives you all the things. It gives you the voice, it gives you the emotion, it gives you the visual. I think you can do so much and it's such a creative space.
Now, I've seen you a couple of times, and I have to shout out JP High Tech because that's where I
Yes.
was kind of introduced to you and what you were doing, speaking at some of his conferences, which is amazing. So, how did you guys connect?
Oh my goodness. That was just a God connection. That was a spiritual connection. I didn't know JP except for the internet. We met, he was watching my show. I was checking out his graphics and his show. And I said, hey, I need you.
That's
And
cool.
I need you to help me to upscale my game. And so he has been there for me. He's like a brother to me. We still have some other projects we're going to be doing this year that I'm very excited about.
I'm excited for you as well. It's really cool for us to have this great community that we're able to kind of help each other grow. Today's planning content, I think it's a special one. So whether you are like me and do interview shows, and I'm on the countdown, so I'll see you on the other side of our countdown. I love it when this happens. Lights, camera,
action, join the stream team and be a part of the streaming network. Our goal is to help you succeed.
Here we go. Tanya Smith is here with me from Stream Like a Boss, and we just got through with the countdown. And I want to say this to you again. I'm excited to have you on the show with me. I am so very impressed with the work and the content that you have put out there, and in our conversations, like talking about how you plan content, how you help your community grow as streamers and using video is just outstanding. And I wanted to share your information with the people of Ecamm. So welcome to the Stream Show.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm just as excited as you are. Goodness, all the connections that I've been able to make since I started connecting via Ecamm Live have been just incredible. It's been such a transformation. There's my girl, Charvette. What's up?
Thank you, Charvette, for hanging out with us today. Let me ask you this question, and I'm sorry, I forgot. We got some hearts out there. You know, people are just really excited about you, and we have tons of content that we want to get in today about planning content creation because, Tanya, I have 2 shows that I do, and I talked about this last week. There's actually 9 pieces of content that I have to produce for just one show.
Mm-hmm.
And planning all of that out is important because, yes, there's chances you can miss one. So for the show today, I want to apologize. I had a reel done. Okay, because one of the content is making a reel. I like making reels that actually advertise our show. You say, why do that? Reels are not built for that, but I do think that reels are still where people put a lot of eyes, right? A lot of people see reels, so putting a reel that is promoting something, if you do it ahead of time, is still a good way to get information out. It's not going to go viral, but it's still a way for people to actually see it.
That's right.
And I missed one thing. I updated Ecamm and I forgot to reset my microphone in the system. So where I have this great microphone, it actually picked up the microphone from the camera. And guess what? I did not have time to go back and record it. Literally, I didn't know until I started to edit it, and I didn't have time because the edit was the next day and I wasn't, dressed. I didn't have my hair and makeup done so I could do it again.
Look, but you know what? What I love about what you just said is that it's real life.
It's real
We're
life.
not always going to have, and it doesn't matter how much planning we do. Sometimes things will just not go as planned, and that's okay. I just think the benefit of having a plan and having a system in place is that it's not going to happen most of the time. Those forgetful moments are exceptions, not the rule.
Not the rule. So having a plan, I think number one is knowing that I was going to do 6, but it's actually 9 pieces of content. You have recently taught some things that I'm aware of that inside of your community about how to plan out content. And if we can just start. So I have people here that may have an interview show like this. They may be on YouTube selling a product. They may be on even doing Amazon Live or multicasting, all kind of stuff. How, when they're planning their content, what is the best way to start?
Yeah, that's it's interesting because I would have probably said something a little different about not even 30 days ago, but now the step is the same, but there are a couple of things that you can do differently. The first step is to brainstorm. Some people call it ideate. What's up, Eileen? Brainstorming is about really kind of figuring out if there are specific ideas that you have, if there are polls and surveys that you've done within your community space, if you've checked out different topics that are of interest to you that you feel like your audience and your community might benefit from. The brainstorming or ideation phase is really the first step. I think a lot of times what we try to do is to jump right in and just let me come up with something really fast and put it out there. But brainstorming is really about pulling out your creative expression and finding a way to tap into something that is of interest to you that is also going to be of interest to the people that you're trying to share with. So
Okay.
step number 1 is the brainstorm.
Brainstorming. So figuring out a direction, having
Yeah.
a foundation. And would that also include making sure you have the right niche? Make sure making sure you're talking about something that you're excited about?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. And so 2 things. Here's something really important. I'm glad you just pointed that out
Yes,
because
ma'am.
it's n it's not just about the things that you love, although it should be. Like, you should be passionate and joyful about whatever you're talking about. Don't be afraid to push against the grain, and if everybody's telling you, "Well, hey, everybody over here is talking about this, and that's what you should talk about," you need to really kind of do an internal search and make sure that's something that's still of interest to you, but is it of interest to the audience? And if you don't know who your audience is and who you're talking to, it's gonna be really hard for you to brainstorm a topic that is relevant, right?
Got you.
And I think a lot of people are using ChatGPT, right? And
Right.
other tools now. That's where that different thing is that's coming into play with my second step that I'll talk about in a second. But you can use all kinds of tools today to help you but first you need to think about for yourself, what is it that I even have interest in? What do I want to talk about? And what do the people who could potentially be my listeners, what do they want to hear and see?
Right, right. So we have people like Miss Eileen on with us today. How are you doing? Tech Troublemaker is in the comments as well. Thank you guys so very much for being a part of the show today. These people are very aware of how to make content, putting content out, and having
Mhm.
an understanding of the foundation of niche and audience. So what is your step 2?
My step 2 would be research.
I like
So
that.
I'm gonna go ahead and cheat and tell you that the steps are BRAND. Okay?
I'm writing
So
down brand.
so BRAND, your brand. I think that we have to make sure that whatever we do when it comes to video content is really aligned with our brand, and so that's where the acronym itself came from, but research. So now that you've thought about, here's some potential ideas, I have this whole list of maybe 20 to 25 or even more. I'm constantly adding to my idea list, and I keep my list either in a notepad or I keep it inside of Airtable. There's a ton of other ways that you can actually keep that list of brainstormed ideas. But step 2 is research
Got
because
you.
you think that it might be a great idea, but have you done any research? Do you really know that it's going to be an idea that's going to be something that can resonate with people and that they're looking for online?
I like that. I like that. It's so important. So one of the things I know about doing your research, if you have already did step 1, knowing your audience, knowing where you're going to talk about, and doing your research, one thing is finding that person or persons that is the leader in whatever field you're trying to get into. Like people that
Mhm.
are the number ones. Like if someone has, 1 million subscribers in the niche that you want to be. So don't think because they
Yeah.
have 1 million subscribers that you can't get into that niche, but find whoever that leading person is and watch their content. Look at their content and see how they're performing based off of the information they're sharing, similar to what you want to share.
That's right. And also use tools like TubeBuddy and vidIQ and Uber Suggest and Answer the Public. Get some ideas for what people are actually looking for. So you're
I like
looking
that.
when you use TubeBuddy and you use vidIQ, to your point, Strick, they're able to really kind of identify what are the videos that are popping up to the top. Who are the people that are talking about this topic and this theme or idea that you've latched on to, and how are they talking about it? And what do their thumbnails look like? And all these different questions can be answered if you're doing the research.
I
But
like that.
until you do that, you're just going off of feeling like, hey, I think this might be great.
Right. Right. So let me say this. I want to stop you right there because
Yeah.
I did have a question in the comments, and Paul, Mr. Moderator, is so good. They asked about Chat GPT. Now, of course, he gave them the link and so they can research it. And it's a little off topic for us today, but thank you, Paul, for giving the link. Reason why I'm stopping here to say that people may not know about
It's
vidIQ
true.
and may not know about TubeBuddy, which are software systems or applications
Hmm.
that you could run for YouTube to get analytics, to
Yep.
know what are keywords, what are trending words, how things are trending inside of the YouTube world, and what videos are leading. So I have a way of wording things for my copy that I'm writing. But when I
Hmm.
go to TubeBuddy and I try to type it in, the way I want to look for it is not always the top tier. There's other words that I could be using to help me come up with what better thumbnail titles and all of that, right?
That's right. That's right. And I love that vidIQ actually gives you the ability to do a couple of things. So it integrates artificial intelligence, which is what GPT is based on, right? And it integrates that to kind of give you ideas for good titles for your videos. So does
Exactly.
TubeBuddy, but the vidIQ has an AI title writer, which is just amazing. So you type in, just like you said, Strick, what you think the title should be for the topic, and then it will help you to really kind of reframe that so that it is more likely to be something that people are searching for in YouTube. The other thing that I love about vidIQ is it has a daily ideas list, and what you can do is part of that brainstorming and research is you can go in and it will tell you based on keywords that you typed in or phrases that you typed in, it will say, you know what? Based on these phrases, this is what people are looking for.
So
And it will give
Tanya,
you ideas.
they want to know what exactly we were saying. And yes,
Yes.
full circle, life full circle radio. You are right. It is vidIQ. If you can search them on the internet, they will help you. That's what she's saying. So it can kind of help you
Hmm.
get all kind of ideas. And Earl Hall Radio, yes, TubeBuddy
All
is
day.
great all day. And vidIQ and TubeBuddy are, what do you say? They're rival companies.
They are. But you know what? Honestly, I found some beauty in being able to use both for different things, right? So, TubeBuddy, you can absolutely have a TubeBuddy account and do just about anything and everything to the point that was made. I love vidIQ for different reasons. I love them for those daily ideas that I can get, and I save those ideas into my brainstorming list. So
Okay.
there are a number of different ways you can use both, but yeah, you can consider them to be competitors. And if you had to choose one, you just want to test out the features for yourself and make some decisions about where you want to spend most of your time.
And the recruiter here is saying hello.
What's up, Dan? Dan the man.
There you go. And here we go. Here's the link. Paul has put it inside of the comments there for us. I don't have a vidIQ or a TubeBuddy link. I guess I should. I didn't know we were going this route, but these are very much so great tools, Tanya, for people to use. So thank you for sharing that. So we got to the B. Now we're at the R, and A is next, right?
Yeah, A is next. And first of all, let me just thank Paul because he is so amazing. He's always
He
on
is.
top of his
He
game.
is.
So thank
He
you for
is.
sharing those links. And yeah, people call me a walking Google. So if you ever need an app, sometimes it just comes out. I will go to A. So A is about assigning time. And this is where the whole plan really comes together because I think a lot of times we will talk about what we're going to do. I mean, I have 1,000 things I want to do and I
Right.
say I'm going to do, and I have a list that's a mile long every morning, but I know I can't get to all of those things. The magic to really getting video content and really anything else done as a business owner is to assign time, meaning that you have to dedicate a time slot in your day, in your week, in your month to do the things that are going to get you to that content creation. So I make sure that I assign time to um, prepare for my guest when it comes to live streaming. I make sure that I assign time for actually delivering the live stream each and every week. I assign time to doing reels, to putting together scripts, to you've got to put that time here. Let me tell you, when I talk to my kids will tell you, they will tell you, Mom says if it ain't on the calendar, it ain't happening. And that's
There
the
you go.
rule in the Smith house.
If it's
So
not
that
on the
rule
calendar, it's
applies.
not happening.
That's
Assign time.
right.
So Tanya, I'm in my communication style. I like to have pauses, and that is a excellent pause space because
All
so
right.
many times we're looking for the latest and greatest application like
Yes.
chat. We're looking for something that could help us, and the thing that could help us is just us doing a basic function of being organized is having time to
Yeah.
write it down, put it on your calendar, and that will really help you. And sometimes we miss that simple step. Like that's elementary school. I need to come home, and before I get on the game or go outside, I have to do my homework stuff.
That's right. That's right. That's exactly what that is. Perfectly said.
And someone is asking already, can you guys drop a link to tell you? We will do that before the end of the show. But while they're asking this, because I have another question in here too, if you don't mind doing that, I would love for you to go ahead and do that now.
Yeah.
And so Paul has kind of helped us out for your YouTube channel.
Thank you, Paul. You are awesome. Yeah, and I'm at streamlikeaboss.tv as well. So that's one of several different spaces that will get you to all the places where I play. Thank you for sharing my YouTube channel.
There you go. There you go. And JP is hanging out with us today. JP, thank you so very much. We've already mentioned you because that's how I got introduced to Tanya is actually through JP High Tech's conferences that he does. So be on the lookout. I'm sure he's got more things coming out. Tanya, I want to ask a quick question, just getting to Gerald's question here about there was a third software mentioned other than vidIQ and TubeBuddy. You remember what that was?
Yes, I do. It was Uber Suggest, and I'm spelling it UberSuggest. Uber Suggest by Neil Patel, who is a famous and
Marketer,
very,
right?
yeah, he's a marketer. Yeah. And he created that in order for you to be able to look up keywords for SEO, for search engine optimization purposes. So I like using it for a number of different reasons because it crosses over not only the YouTube and TV type of stuff, but also your blog and anything that you're going to put in your website copy. So kind of marrying the two of those things in that space. It's just another tool. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to use all of them, but I'm throwing out some that I typically use commonly for planning.
There you go.
So
I
thank you.
absolutely, and I stopped you on purpose. On purpose, I just want us to breathe on the fact that you have to do some old school stuff. Just set aside some time, assign some time, put it on the calendar to actually do the work. Like we're planning
Yeah.
content here, and we just can't think that okay, one day I'm just gonna get in the office and do everything.
Yeah.
No, you start. I'd start with 5 or 6. I'm gonna do these things, and I make it to 4. Well, I got to put those
Yeah.
other 2 back on the next day's calendar, preferably at the
Yeah.
top to get it done. So
Yeah.
thank you for that. Thank you for that.
Yeah. And one of the things I honestly this year I've started to do better about is at the beginning of the morning is sitting down and looking at that list, which feels overwhelming sometimes, and just saying, what are the big 3? Like
Okay.
if I got these 3 things done today, what would make me the most joyful? What would I feel really accomplished about at the end of the day if I was able to achieve or accomplish these things? So I know we all have just 100 things to do, but doing those 2 things. So one, making sure you're blocking time. And there are a lot of different books out there and workshops and other things that talk about time blocking. So time blocking for writing your script, time blocking for actually recording your videos, whether they be your live stream itself or reels or whatever it might be. Time blocking for all the tasks, right, that are related to your content creation. That plus finding those big 3, those have been huge for me on a daily basis to be more organized.
Well, let me ask you this question from our comments here. Do you use Asana or Notions, or do you recommend anything for someone that wants to get organized?
That's a really great question. It's something I've been playing with. Notion is something that has there are a lot of different tools or frameworks that you can buy, like templates that you can buy that already have content creation programs and project management templates and that type of thing. So, Notion is one that I definitely recommend. It's not the one I currently use. I've been actually using one called Coda, CODA, which is similar to Notion. But I honestly, both of those can get so complicated and there's so much. I was writing formulas and doing a bunch of other stuff, and I thought, I don't want to spend time doing this, especially if I want to teach my system. So I've actually gone back to Airtable, and Airtable just creating some simple tables that marry to each other. Airtable is how I keep my guest list organized for my interviews. It's also how I create the content for my live streams. And I've integrated recently Reels into that space as well.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, Earl here says he's found the calendar on Trello to be really good, and so has Paul. And these are just comments our from the comments,
Mm-hmm.
right? So
Yep.
I've used Trello. I've used Asana. I have one now because I do a little more work with even some client-based stuff.
Yep.
Project.co. I did a show about Project.co with the
I have
owner,
that.
so you can go right through the Stream Show playlist and check them out because they do have scheduling. It's robust. I mean, if you have clients, they have a client portal. But if you're just needing a calendar, need to keep up with tasks,
Mm-hmm.
Project.co is another good one out there as well. So just try all of those tools out. What I found best, Tanya, is that people try something and find the one that they
Yes.
feel most comfortable with.
That's right. I was just getting ready to piggyback off of what you were saying and say that because we literally could do an entire half a day on just tools.
Yes, we
That's
could.
real. Like we could just list off all the tools. But in the end, and yeah, I agree. Scott is on ClickUp and so is someone else. He's in one of my communities. One of the things that I think that we have to be careful of is that we don't get so overloaded and with
That's
shiny
true.
object syndrome. Pick something, try it, and you have to give yourself a trial period. Like, don't try it for 2 days and say, oh, this isn't working, unless it really just is not
Isn't
working. You
working.
just
Right.
know. Give yourself a chance to really kind of build it out, test it, at least for 30 days. And if it's not working, then try something else. And once you find the thing, stick with it. Like, stick with it. I think
That's true.
sometimes the reason we're disorganized is because we've got stuff in a bunch of different buckets. We've got stuff in Notion and Asana and Trello but find the thing that works for you. And all of us are so different with our styles of learning that your organization style is going to be uniquely yours.
That's
Just
right.
own it and use it.
Because at the end of the day, we could do all of this stuff, maybe not all of the Notion stuff, but most of the stuff could be done in Google.
Yeah,
It could be
it's
done
true.
with Google Calendar, to-do lists, and all that. You could do that. These other applications just kind of streamline some things, but it all can be done. It's really what you purpose to do. So the question is, what is Trello? And Trello is just another project management calendar tool.
Yeah,
All right, this is
that's
all it
right.
is. Is it has a different format. So what happens between these different applications that they're all formatted just a little different. So if you like to
Yeah.
have your things in little bubbles, Trello is good. It has the little bubbles and it puts everything in nice folders but Asana does the same. If you're like me and if you haven't seen a Monday.com video, maybe you're not on YouTube because that's all I see. Maybe I searched for Asana and Monday decided to go after me, but that's all I see all the time is Monday.com stuff. So
Yeah.
we kind of got stuck right there. So we got the B, we got the R, we are on A, and we needed to
Yeah,
pause there because before you can be a content creator, you need to be a great planner. And what's
that's right.
next?
What's next is your N. So the N is notify your audience.
Okay.
So you created the content, right? Or you've set up and you've pre promoted the live stream or whatever it might be. But you got to let people know, because a closed mouth is a closed store.
Right.
So until
Right.
you let people know that it's coming or that it's here, they won't know to go and pay attention to that. So the notification is a big step when it comes to planning. And part of that for me is also making sure that I've put that into my schedule. And I've been bad. I'm going to be transparent when it
We all
comes to
have. I raised my
launches.
hand as well.
Yeah, I'm not always the best at that part, the notifying, but that could look like you sharing on social media. It could look like you sharing through your email list. It could be any number of ways. If you have a text community, if you're using text messaging and SMS, whatever way you can reach the folks who are most likely to want to participate and engage with you, you need to let them know. So notifying people is the next step in that process.
So, guys, we're talking about planning content, and there's an acronym we're going down now. It's called BRAN, BRAN. And we're at the end and notifying your
Yeah.
people. You would be surprised. People schedule out. They've done all of the research. They've
Hmm.
done all of the, this is what I want to talk about, and they forget to let people know where I went
Yeah.
live and nobody was there. Well, who did you tell to come?
I know. It's like having a party. Hey, I'm having a party tonight at 6. It's 5:59. Why is nobody showing up? Because I didn't tell them.
So
They couldn't get ready.
this is a good one. This is a good one off the top of my head, Tanya. So if you're having a party and no one shows up, are you really having a party?
Right. That's a good one.
So if you're doing a live stream and nobody shows up, are you really doing a live stream?
Right.
Like you
That's
may be
good.
there, and this is not for people that are beginning. Like, listen, guys,
Yeah.
this is really in advance. So we all have been through the pandemic, decided that
Yeah.
streaming is the key. Like we need to stream. Live streaming is a perfect way to get engagements from your community. How do you do it effectively? And this is what we're
Yeah.
talking about tonight. Not just going live and having a good time. Hey, who's there? And talking, but effectively doing live streaming so that you get the audience that is ready for whatever product you're selling, whatever course you
Yeah.
have, listening to your guests. Like I have a great guest for you guys to hear from today. All of those things is what you want to do now. We've been past the exercise of just pressing the button, as Paul had put in the comments earlier. That's the easy part. Doing all of
Yeah.
this planning, it makes you more effective when you get there.
Mhm. Yeah. I definitely didn't have a plan starting out. I just said, "Okay, what am I gonna talk about? Let me figure
Right.
that out."
And Paul is right. We all stream to the big zero at some point, and we
Yep.
pray for people to watch in a replay. We want to help you plan to get past the big zero. Okay, we want to
Yeah.
help you plan, and I do want to say this. I'm going to drop this in. Your friends and family, automatically, whatever your content is, they may not be your audience. So to invite friends and families, especially on YouTube, may not be the best way to earn an audience. It may be a good way to
Yeah.
start and make you feel better that your cousins are on with you. But if they're not interested in whatever content that you decided, whatever niche that you decided to go into, it may hurt you in the long run. So you really
That's
want to
right.
find a way to go back through this video and find out what the B is and what the R is and all of the things that we've already talked about to help you get a good idea where your audience may be so you can reach them with the notification that we're on now.
That's right. I like to call the people that you wanna reach with your video your most valuable video viewer, so your MV3. Why is that
M,
important? Because the MV3, your most
MV.
valuable video viewer, is the person or people who ideally will want to invest in more of an experience with you. So that's typically not your cousin. That's
That's
typically gonna
right.
be somebody who was really intended to receive the messaging and the transformation that you're able to offer through your services, programs, or products. So
That's
if you
true.
know who that is, and we can back that up a little bit, but if you know who that is, that's who you're talking to. That's who you're notifying.
Because cousins could be the distraction. And just, hey, girl, like
What's
I'm
up,
working
girl?
here.
I know.
I'm working. Like I'm trying to get some
I mean,
sales.
I
Like, what
love
are you
them
doing?
coming though. Look, I love my family. My family is so supportive. We have such a huge family, Strick. I've got my
That's
dad
good.
is the eldest of 12. My mom is the youngest of 9. So then I got all the
Wow.
cousins all over it. Plus my husband and
Wow.
I form a military family. So we got people who will come because they just love you.
Right.
And the ones who love on you, that's awesome. But in the end, if your goal is that you're delivering video content as part of your business strategy because you want to generate more leads and you want to serve more people in a way that helps to create a sustainable business, then you need to be marketing to people who are willing to pay. They're going to reach to their pocket because they love what you're offering and they love what you're sharing and they want to invest in a more expanded experience with you. They want to have more opportunity to learn from you and to grow.
I like that. Let me ask you this question. At what point in the notification field in
Yeah.
notifying people would you use paid advertising to notify people?
Gosh, I don't really do that. I'm going to be honest. Now, I would say that there is value in that, though. It's something that I'm starting to come around to and to learn to do more strategically. What I don't agree with is the idea of just putting money in the bucket to see what happens, the whole let me pay and pray. I don't agree
Gotcha.
with that idea. But I do think that there is some credence to the idea of paid ads and promotion to get people to view your content initially. But going back to what you said earlier about Reels and TikToks and YouTube Shorts, that's your awareness content right there. And you're not
That's right.
paying for that. It is time that is consumed, and you do have to plan for that too. So here we go again, back to the planning. But I love that you're able to generate or drive awareness through those short form videos. So that's the awareness content. Your live stream is going to be more of your bonding content. That's the content. So this is the ABC. I got to give you another
Come on.
acronym.
Come on. I
The
love it.
bonding content is where you're actually like, you're creating this neighborhood, this community of people that are really getting to know you and that they're loving your content. They're coming back. They're repeat viewers to your live stream. Then you've got your conversion content, the C. The conversion content is where you're going to have the webinars and the master classes and all the things, right, that are generating income or that are driving people to say, hey, I want to be a coaching client. I want to be this type of client. I want more of your services. So the fact that you can really kind of string those three types of content together, for me, that's been the beauty of video, one. And it has caused me to kind of push back and say, I don't need to do a promotional ad because I'm using those three things in tandem and it's working. But you got
Gotcha.
to be consistent.
Gotcha. I love that. I love that. And we have people here that are saying how much they love what content that we're making right now. If you really have learned something so far, because we got a ways to go, I need you to do me a favor. Please click the like button. It's really simple. If you've heard something, you haven't clicked it yet, please click the like button. Let us know that this is being impactful for you today. We are on the Ecamm Live YouTube channel, so we need Ecamm to know that this show is helping you as a content creator. And Tanya has done such a great job. And I said that at the same time, Elaine was saying that
Thank
as
you.
well. So there you go.
Thank you. Thank you.
You are truly amazing. We're learning MV3. What that is, we got the ABCs down, and people are really, really loving this. Okay.
You bet. Oh,
Yeah, you didn't think you would get that on the stream show, right?
I
You
love
bet
it.
it's
Boom
like Tanya,
diggity.
it's the boom diggity. There you go. There you go. And yes, Ecamm is the best, Earl. Thank you so very much for saying that. So, All I have to do is ask the question. You have all the content. So I'm just diving through and asking additional content, and you keep just giving it all. I love it. But we are on in. If everybody is keeping up with this, we're on in. So what's the next thing?
So we just notified the audience. And the D, this is where you really have to deliver the promise.
I love it.
So whatever you said you were going to be sharing, if you said you were going to be on at a certain time, on a certain day, if you said you were going to be giving people 5 tips to help them to transform their life or their business, then that's what you need to deliver. So the delivery is everything. This is where the power of your whole planning of the content comes into play. This is where you're on time.
Right.
Like, I love to be on time for things. You're on time. You're putting your passion and your enthusiasm into it. You're putting your brand and your special sauce, whatever that is, because it's going to be different for everybody, right?
Right.
But you're making sure that you are committed to showing up and showing people whatever it is you promised you would show them when you notified them, right? So the delivery is the last step.
And it's important. All of these things are important, but
Yeah.
more importantly, as a content creator, like we're learning today, because I wanted everybody to plan content out. We can't just turn on and press record or turn on and press go live and not have a real plan. Because if you
Yeah.
don't do all of those things in brand and you're ready to do the last one, which is D, deliver, you can't. You're not prepared. Like you're not prepared to really deliver great content if
That's
you
right.
haven't planned it out well. People will recognize that there is no substance to your content. How would I say that? This is what I want to say. Before we got on, Tanya, I think I told you I was just kind of going through Chat GPT on some things for planning. I just was trying to
Mm-hmm.
get some content for myself. Well, Chat GPT is giving you information from its sources, internet and all other kind of stuff. But guess what it is? It's real surfacey. Like you guys have heard
Yes.
everything Chat GPT is going to tell you, like how to plan a live stream. It's telling you things that we already know on the surface. They didn't give me anything new. But if you are really planning, if you're really doing your research, if you're really notifying your people when it's time to deliver, you will be able to deliver great content because it's most important. Because how are you going to get people to come back if you don't deliver when they are there?
Yeah. Yep. Yep. And part of your delivery also is really kind of thinking through how you want to present yourself and represent yourself on camera. So part of that is the preparation behind the scenes of having your mic ready, having your lighting on point, right? Having
Right.
the camera set up and ready to go. These are all things that I struggled with when I first started live streaming. I was running up the stairs out of breath, right?
Right.
Initially,
Right.
when I first started streaming, I didn't have all those things together. So I just appreciate that you mentioned too that some of this is a little bit more advanced.
It
But
is.
even if you're a beginner and you're someone who's just starting out, I hope that you're taking these points and saying, okay, this is what I want to get to. I want to get to that place where I'm not out of breath, where I feel like, hey, I'm at my best and I'm showing up as my best self on camera so that I can deliver the promise. I can deliver what people need to hear. I can present myself as the expert and the credible person that I know that I truly am.
Damn, that's true. True. So one of my giftings, of course, is I've been a host for a very long time, did radio, and now
Yeah.
doing streaming and working with Ecamm and some other brands. I can rely on my gift by being able to communicate and host well and not do the work before I get to a show and really miss it. Oh, I was engaging, or people loved it, but people could still walk away without getting something of substance from my content. I want people to know that when you are talking, when you have an audience, be sure that you do all that you can to give and deliver great
That's
content
right.
for them, because that's what's going to have them come back. If we can share some things like Tanya is sharing today, some things that they haven't heard before. I haven't heard the MV3 rule, the ABCs, and all that other kind of stuff. These are things that can help us go to the next step. It's kind of like advanced settings. And that's why we wanted to share it today. So people are talking about all the stuff. They love your lighting. And yes, you
Thank
need to be
you.
prepared. And it does not need to be perfect. We are not going to be perfect. If you want to show, if you want to see a show that wasn't perfect, well, watch last week's show. I had some, they were working on my internet at 7 p.m. on a Sunday night here in
Oh,
Birmingham. I'm like, what are you guys doing with my internet? And it really was not cool at all. But guess what? Sometimes those things happen. So,
hey, I went
Michelle,
live and the first 5 minutes was totally on mute, and I had no idea that no one could hear me. I was just lip syncing. People could see me talking and kept trying to reach me on the
wow.
phone, like, hey. So, yeah, there is no perfection. This is not a destination, it's a journey.
It's a journey. That's right.
Yeah, that you just go on and on and on, and you're gonna learn things along the way, and some things are gonna mess up. There's gonna be a couple of rocks you're gonna trip over, but in the end, you get back up and you keep walking,
And you have a
and you
great show like today, because you have to give yourself the bandwidth to do it and the flexibility
yeah,
to do it. I shouldn't, if you have a bad show, the last thing you want to do is to stop. Like, who
mhm,
stops on a bad moment? You got to get back on the horse and do the right thing. So let me check all the boxes off. Let me
yeah,
check off all the boxes and being sure that I am prepared for every step of the way.
yeah.
It was Brant when we first started. My co-host Brant Collins, he would always test, like he would ask me, now, Strick, do you have your Wi-Fi off? Because that was a big issue for me, forgetting to turn my Wi-Fi off. As soon as I would hit go live, it would go down. I was like, oh man, I do this every time. So today, guess what I did? Turn my
Turn
Wi-Fi
the
off,
Wi-Fi off.
and it's on the checklist to be able to get it
Yep.
out. So let me go through a couple of things. David says, can't wait for the replay. Brother, please check out this replay. I'm telling you, Tanya brought down the brand as an acronym to help us with our content planning. You don't want to miss it, Michelle. It's always good to have you on with us, Michelle. And what's that? I have a TSA pass. Man, there you go. He's been helping us out with some stuff. He wanted you to
I
have your own
love Dan.
show. He's telling you the TSA, and being a skilled broadcaster isn't enough. It is. I listen. I'm telling you, like, I'm gifted at this. This is my skill. I love communicating, but it is absolutely not enough. Because if you don't have great content behind it, people would be like, "Hey, it was a great show, but I didn't really get
I didn't get
much."
anything.
And
Mhm.
you don't want to have, I didn't really get anything. All right. I've learning to focus on productivity and performance, not perfection. That is such a great idea,
That's
because if you
perfect.
try to go after perfection, you would miss it every time. You would miss it every time.
That's
I
right.
have this, what I call it, the Michael Jordan rule. He was way under 50% shooting. The greatest basketball player of all times. I'm not debating that. I'm saying that the greatest basketball player he made less than half of the shots that he took.
Mm,
And he's still the greatest. So
yeah.
when you think about what you're doing, keep taking the shots. I have a 17-year-old son. He plays basketball. He is a shooter. I said, what do shooters do? They shoot. Even when they're not making it, they're
Yeah.
constantly shooting because it will come back. So I'm saying that to help what do streamers do? Tanya, they
They
stream.
stream.
They stream. They
That's
stream.
right.
All right. We have so many things. I want to throw up this last one. I've learned my lesson about muted audio. I had an iPad to test up my stream, so I
Oh,
experienced
smart.
firsthand to work out any issues. I get it. I get it. And then the principal is
Yes.
here with us today. Principal Walker, great information tonight. Tanya,
Thank
you
you.
have been like a superstar guest for me. And I knew it when I asked you to come on. So me and Tanya had this kind of a call. I had I got an opportunity to do a one-on-one with Tanya, and I guess she was calling me, asking me about stuff that I was doing. I ended up interviewing her, and my mind was blown by her processes that she uses. So before we get out of here tonight, you gotta tell people, like, when you're talking to guests, your procedure from the application you use, because I'm not using what you're using. Like, your stuff is like, I'm telling you. When I tell you she has a bona fide system, it reminded
Yeah.
me 3, 4 times. I knew when the call was going to be because of her system. Can you tell us what you're using and how you set it up when it is either calls or either guests on your shows?
Oh my goodness. And I'll try to do it in an abbreviated version, but yeah, once again, the whole guest interview process, the content that you're creating from a guest interview is content. That's going to represent you. It's going to represent your brand. You want it to be stellar. So one of the things that's really important to me is having an application process, because I know there are going to be a lot of people who raise their hand and say, "Hey, I want to be on your live stream show and I want you to interview me and showcase me and spotlight my business," which is great, but I need to have a process in place to make sure that I'm vetting people, to make sure that we're aligned, our brands are aligned, and that what they can share is something that really is going to be relevant to my audience. So I do have an application process slash registration. We can call it registration when I've invited a person. So I invited Strick, and I've invited a number of other people that I know are in this audience right now too. And as I invite, they go through this application. It's a process form that I use on Question Scout is the form or the tool that I use, but people can use Typeform or any other type of process like that, right? So that page that they go to initially to fill this form out is going to give them an idea of what my show is about. It's going to tell them who I am, what my personality is. It's going to give them samples of other guest interviews so that they know too that this is something they want to do. Once they fill out the form actually feeds into my Airtable. I mentioned that earlier, that I'm using Airtable to manage all my content and to kind of keep me on track with the calendar. So it automatically feeds into that calendar, and now I have, or into that Airtable. So I have a dashboard that lays out everything that I know about the person who I'm going to be interviewing. It has their bio, it has their headshot, it has the date and time that they've chosen for the booking. When they do book their appointment for the interview, I have specific time slots that are in my calendar, my booking calendar, that are allotted for guest interviews. Because if I didn't do that, they would be all over the place. Well, my show is on Thursday nights at 8 p.m. So I've got it mapped out to where I will have 2 to 3 guests per month, and they're all on the proper date, and they can schedule as far out as, I think, up to 3 months, depending on their needs and my, what I have available. Once they've scheduled, they get a confirmation. So Strick was talking about the multiple confirmations. Well, I've learned that people need reminders. So I do have it set up to where they get a confirmation that's in my lingo, like, "Hey, what's up? Congratulations. I'm so glad that you and I are going to be talking. Here's all the details." And then there is a checklist that I have created with a video that outlines, especially for those guests who may not be used to streaming, it lays out for them, here's some things that you want to know. And it gives them a printable, a downloadable PDF that has 5 tips for them to kind of take a look at. Things like what he just said, making sure you turn your Wi-Fi off or that you're hardwired if you can be, and a couple of other tips, right? That's their prep checklist. I asked them to bookmark that. And then I'm going to fast forward and say there's a couple more reminders. So 3 days out, 1 day out, and then about an hour out before we get ready to do the show. And all of those have a link back to where they're going to be meeting me inside of my Ecamm live room. And it also reminds them of where the prep checklist is in case they need to watch that or pull the handy downloadable cheat sheet so that they can be prepared. The more prepared my guests are, the more likely we're going to have a great show. And that not only showcases me as a professional, but it also shines a spotlight on them as well. And that's what I want. I want to make sure that both of us are looking like stellar professionals when it comes to the show.
There you go. Earl heard it,
So
and he's like, hey, he subscribed, and he's like, hey,
thank
I
you,
want to be
Earl.
on your show. Maybe he can be on your show. Check this out. I love what you've shared. I definitely love the process that you have, and your experience in all of this is really helping us out tonight. People want to contact you, like they really want to be connected with you. I know we've had the link for your YouTube, but there other ways that they can be in contact with you?
Absolutely. The two links that I would share would be getnoticedwithvideo.com, which is my main website. So getnoticedwithvideo.com, and then streamlikeaboss.tv. So streamlikeaboss.tv is a site that I've just recently built out because we're really going all in this year on live streaming video. You can reach me at either one of those sites. Streamlikeaboss.tv is going to give you my schedule and let you know when we have videos coming up. You'll also have access to a link or a page that shares my different programs. We have a program called the Let's Go Live Challenge that's going to be opening up for enrollment this coming week. So I'm just excited about all the things. I'm building out a new program, a new course called Your Signature Stream and then Stream to Stand Out. Very excited about all the things coming, but either one of those two sites would be a good way to stay connected.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Thank you for being my guest tonight. What a great show we've had. Listen, guys, we do this every Sunday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's the Stream Show. And I want to thank you for just the time that you've given us. And if you're here and you've learned something tonight, I want you to go just one step further. Share this for us. Share this with other content creators you would know. Put it on your page. Let them see Tanya and all of the information that she shared as a content creator. This just helps all of us, okay? So again, thank you. And as Scott says, thank you both. And we really do appreciate it. So I did something that normally I don't do. I didn't work all the way through all of my slides today. So I got to find my ending slide here, guys. So, but there we go. I think I found it.
Hey, this is DJ Strick, and I would like to thank you for watching another edition of The Stream Show.